We really want to listen to them on the onboarding, because what we found out is whether you're a large football stadium in the US or the UK, or you're a small venue of 8,000 seats, every customer is different and wants a unique experience.
Hey there, ALSD. Jared Frank back here at ALSD International, now with Shawn Doss, Vice President of Business Development for Elevate Sports Ventures. Shawn, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely, thanks for having us.
We just left the stage of a really great panel, all-encompassing sales, both product and process, all the way through new business plus retention. There were a few topics that I think warrant some follow-up that we just didn't have time for during the session. One of those is around negotiation. And that word, for better or worse, has this combative stigma around it. But sometimes it's not about being combative, it's really continuing a needs analysis for the customer. And I know that is a strong suit of yours in your organization. Can you explain to us how you view that?
Yeah, absolutely, Jared. It's a great point. Like the negotiation, it's a lot of times people always think of it as like, oh, well, how am I going to upsell a client? And we don't view that in the Elevate world that way. What we view is just the best way to analyze on the front end so the customer's in the right product. And through doing that, if you do it thorough enough, you actually will upsell a client or get them in the product that's best suited for them. So the best example I can give you is the question we always ask when someone says that, hey, I'd like to get 2 seats in the club. We always train our salespeople to ask, how sure are you that 2 seats are enough? It's a simple question. How sure are you 2 seats are enough? And then they start to think like, well, you know what? I don't know, like, why are you asking? Or what do you mean? Well, I know you want to bring your wife to all the games, but what happens when you want to bring your kids? Are you going to have to call me every time? We'll have to look for seats. When you take your CEO with you to the games and you invite a client, are you going to call in to get more tickets? And they start to realize, for my business, it's actually better that I have 4 seats so that for all the big matches and all the concerts, I can have 4 seats instead of having 2 and having to call every time. So they realize that the ROI is there, and that's the reason why they want 4 seats. So we don't view it necessarily as negotiating and the best practices. What we view is doing a thorough needs analysis on the front end, really understanding the client, and tactically asking some of those questions to get those answers, and then from there showing them what the best options are that would fit into their spectrum of what they want to get.
Sure. And how does that governing principle extend through to the onboarding portion of the sales process? Yeah,
it's a great question. On the onboarding and the service, like we really view that as it's long gone are the days where it's, hey, every season ticket member gets a signed item and an event on the floor at the in the summertime. Like what we view now is that we really want to listen to them on the onboarding, because what we found out is whether you're a large football stadium in the US or the UK, or you're a small venue of 8,000 seats, every customer is different and wants a unique experience. So if we ask the questions on the front end, and it can be as simple as how do you want to be communicated with? And they may tell us that they like the emails every week and they want to call every quarter. They may say they like for you to be stopped in and visited once every 3 games and to go visit them in their seat. So we ask all those questions on the front end, and most importantly, we have them identify with what group they belong to the most. So an example of that with the membership programs that we've done in my past experiences in New Jersey, Miami Dolphins do a great job, San Diego Padres, is identify into buckets. So there's a business track for membership, there's a fanatic track for membership, there's a family track for membership. So a good example of that is the family track. You may get the paint on the ice event at the end of the year so your kids can come paint on the ice. Whereas the fanatic track, you'll get a chalk talk with the coach in the locker room. So you have to really go behind the scenes because you're a fan and you want to hear that. And a business may get the business networking events once a month. So we try to ask the questions on the front end to customize a service experience on the back end versus just tossing anything their way. And we feel that onboarding really makes the smoothest process because you understand the goals from the front end.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm not sure I've heard it quite verbalized in that way in the premium sense. So the segmentation of those buyer personas that you spoke to, that's not, just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, that's not just for individual buyers, that's for corporate buyers as well?
Absolutely, because if you think about it, if you're entertaining your employees, and that's the main reason why you bought it as a business, and your clients are national and they're not always in town, you'll want a very different experience in your premium seating area than you would is if you're bringing a client in and every night is surprise and delight and it's wow factor. It's not that your employees won't want the same wow factor, but it's different because there may be an educational component with a client that you want to get through in any given night, whereas with an employee, it's about letting them truly let their guard down and have a great night away from the work with their colleagues. So in that sense, you can customize the membership package based on their goals, and that you only get by asking the decision maker, the admin, the board members, and all the people that are involved. And that's something we do on the front end that we feel is so vital because it's not a one-size-fits-all category anymore, and businesses aren't just buying suites and premium hospitality for the fun of it anymore. So we feel like it's necessary. And it's the same way now when I walk into a cell phone store, they now have the iPhone X, the 10X, the XL, all the new ways, because there's one that literally fits my hand and wants to customize to what I actually want. So I feel like every other industry is doing it, and now we're a little bit behind, but we're getting there. And on the Elevate side, that's what we focus on.
That's great. Well, why don't we leave it there for today? Really appreciate you carving out part of your afternoon to spend with us.
Well, thanks for
Shawn.
having us. It's a great conference.